Welcome to another episode of Nerd Bourbon's fan service podcast. We're going to do, I guess this is a reprise of an episode that we just recently had where Captain Glorious Beard defecated all over Final Fantasy VII's remake. But we have a special invited guest here, your Kix's own Black Trey. He's going to defend Final Fantasy VII Remake. We also have, well, let me introduce everybody. So we have my wonderful co-host, Bro Tendo.
Yeah, I officially just got that title on Zoom, apparently. So now we're in it.
Co-host. It's real now. And then we also have your Kix's Black Trey.
What's going on, people?
And then we have Captain Glorious Beard.
Oh, do I need to start adding tags and everything I'm doing after my name?
I mean, that's at the end. But yeah, I mean, if you want to.
Get your plugs.
Nothing to plug except for Red Light Robbery Radio and Grand Theft Everything podcast.
No, at the end of the video. At the end.
No, we did it now. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
He's like a contrarian. He just wants stuff to.
It's fine. It'll be okay.
So,
you end up putting it at the end anyway, and nobody hear the best part of the video.
So
Yeah, that's if they even make it to the end, right? At least they got the tags.
So I don't know. I don't know who's gonna start. I know
Straight to it.
Hasn't played either. So
straight to it. Let's get to it.
All right, let's cut to it.
Let me clear up a misconception. I hate that game because I love the original, right? So
I got you.
It's not me saying that the game's a bad game, because as a functional video game in 2020, it was a functional video game compared to like Avengers and Cyberpunk and shit.
Oh yeah, I agree on that. I agree with that.
I don't hate the combat, because the combat in Final Fantasy VII was what it was. Like nothing to write home about. But you know, being told one thing and then having a demo that played exactly like the demo, played exactly like the first fight in 7, made me believe that I was buying 7 and not a LARPer's version of 7. Like it was like a Comic-Con version of 7. Like it wasn't actually 7. But that's all I got to say. I'm gonna hear your points and then I'm gonna.
All right, so Black Trey, we're gonna let you say what you got to say, defending this game as best you can. Captain Glorious Beard, try not to interrupt him. Let him get his point off. Let him get it off.
I'm on mute, bro.
All right. You got the floor, Black Trey.
It's all good. So basically, Final Fantasy VII, that's my favorite game of all time. Like if I haven't beat that game over like 200 or 300 times, or like restarted it at least like 500 times, then you know what I mean. Like then it's not me. But like the reason why I wasn't as upset as like a lot of people coming into this game was because I've been duped, especially by Square Enix, so many times. So when I seen how beast the demo was, I said there's gonna be a catch. You know what I'm saying? I knew there was gonna be a catch, and I know what you know what I mean. It's like, all right, I said judgments about it. So
you're breaking up.
Yeah, you making great points, but you breaking up, bro.
You're breaking up.
That's how we're going to do this game.
You're gonna have to run those back, Dunny.
I have much soaked everything in. Oh, damn. All right. Hold
you
on.
good?
I can hear you now.
All right, just let me know when I'm good. Now, yeah, hold on. Yeah, you see that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
You're talking about your.
What about now? Okay.
You're falling out with SE.
When did I start breaking up? All right, let me just restart. All right, so basic. All right. So pretty much, Square Enix over the past couple of years, they just been letting me down. Once 13 came out, I was so disappointed. 15 came out, it was broken. 14 came out, was initially broken. and just in general, I just been let down, movies, everything. So I was like, all right,
I can't
Final
hate this
Fantasy
guy at
7
all.
is my favorite game of all time, and
I can't hate this guy at all. He's
and
saying some great
because,
stuff right now.
like I said, all right. So since this is my game, then I literally probably, if I didn't spend like 1,000 hours on that game, maybe even more, I beat all the weapons. I maxed everybody out. I found a way to get everybody's stats max. Every single thing that you could do in that game, I did. And I still have the save files, if anybody wants to know. So I was like,
You
all
got
right.
a memory card, my nigga?
I got it on the Vita.
All right.
Yeah. So when this game came out, I was so freaking hyped. And even still, I didn't really dislike the game. The main parts about this game that I disliked was just how they switched up the story a bit, and they switched it up and they made it different, but I didn't want the same exact game. My one gripe that I will say is that Midgar, the setting for the remake, it was like my least favorite part of the whole game overall. But what I did like about it was that they fleshed it out. They made it a big, huge city, and they gave you a lot of things to do. I love the combat. I did love the story. It was like really cinematic, but I was so invested like in the characters from my years of playing it, that I was, what I mean, I was okay. There was certain elements that I was just like, yo, this is not the same story though, and there's definitely something going on, because they kept adding in tidbits, and they were adding in characters and these other, spiritual elements.
Nigga, they hit us with
what
Seth Roth 5 minutes into the game.
But you know what? The reason why I didn't have an issue with that, because what I think that, but once I heard that they were breaking it into like a couple different parts, especially if they do more than two, I didn't have an issue with that, because Cloud already beat the shit out of Sephiroth. You feel what I'm saying? And if it's not exactly the same game, that means that they're gonna make some higher stakes. Something that's gonna have to be bigger than Sephiroth. Everybody who plays that, everybody who I would say they were counting on getting that game day one, is already well versed with who Sephiroth is. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, if the game is only going through Midgar, you still would probably want to see Sephiroth in some capacity, I would think. You feel what I'm saying? Because if it's like, we get this game and Sephiroth is a big, huge part of, Final Fantasy and Cloud and his whole dynamic, I said they're going to have to find something to do with the character. So for me, it didn't bother me in that sense, because I know a lot of people hated Advent Children, but I really liked Advent. The story was kind of bad, but I love like the fighting and shit, like all the fighting scenes. Like, I'm good with it, bro. Yeah, so I'm good, bro. Like, I don't know.
All right. You saying some good shit, and I don't want to lose track, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with the the guy who made it, right?
Yeah.
He designed.
Kingdom Hearts is trash.
No.
FYI.
Yeah. Thank you. Please. Thank you. I'm glad you got that out the way. So now I ain't even got to go there. So let's just cool. The guy who made this, directed this, who wrote this, made Kingdom Hearts. He made Cloud and Sephiroth, right?
Right.
But what people don't know, even the people that played 7 probably forgot, where 7 starts off is right after Cloud was saved by Zack. He picked his sword up. Then, like, I don't know if a couple days went by or whatever the fuck, and then they did the little bomb thing. Like, he was picked up by them. So him seeing Sephiroth as a PTSD thing makes sense, right?
Right.
And if they would have kept that up, instead of like, Sephiroth made it very clear that no, he's here right now, and not in his head. Because I caught that immediately. I'm like, that doesn't mean he's in his. What the fuck? Right. But what I did like that they did is when you blew that shit up, it affected people in the reactors area. Like people's in town, like, yo, what the fuck? Blah 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 blah. This, and people die. What you did killed people. It affected people in the town. They weren't happy with what you did.
Right. No, yeah, definitely.
That stuff, dope. Because they are terrorists. That is dope. Them giving a little more character to Wedge, Big, and Jessica, or whatever her name was. I can't remember her name.
Jesse.
Even though they turned Jesse to like a 13-year-old thought, how she was
Yeah.
just like throwing pussy at Cloud. He did not want it. But my problem with this is just like my problem with Kingdom Hearts. There's no stakes in that fucking Disney game. It's like
Right.
it's none. No one died in this game. Nobody. You think Wedge, Biggs, and Jesse died? No, they're alive at the end of the game. You know
Right.
that, right? So Zach, there's
Well,
another timeline now since we killed the fucking Whisperers. Zach's alive.
But wait, hold up. Didn't they like throw Wedge out of a window or something like that? Didn't like the Whispers like throw him out a window, or was I like bugging?
Yeah, they pulled him out of a window and then he was alive again at the end of the game. He like gets sucked into the abyss and then he was like, I'm sorry or something like they literally Final Destination his ass. Like, we're tired of you. You supposed to be dead already. And then he's alive because we killed the Whisper things.
All right. I definitely will agree with you on that. The story really did bother me, like, especially on my second playthrough. Like, once I really got to digest the whole thing.
That's what annoyed me, going back to the
chapter,
second playthrough.
Chapter 18, like, once I got there and I was just like, yo, what is going on? It just felt
After
like
I
a
quit the
completely
first
different game. I was able to make it through. I made it the whole way because it's just Cloud is my favorite character. So, you know, whatever he's in, it's just for me. I guess it's probably fanboy, but you know, whatever he's in,
I feel it. Cloud
I'm automatically, he's
we
a
were
beast.
kids. I don't know how old you were when you played 7 originally.
I think like 13, maybe.
My
13,
first Final
14.
Fantasy was 1. I played 1 when I was 7 years old. And I have no connection to none of those characters in that game, even though I love that game.
Right.
But nobody had a name.
Was my first one. And then I played like some of the older ones after I played that.
Yep.
So I played like 6 and 5.
That's
6
exactly
and 4.
what I did. I played 1, then 7, then I went back to 6, 3, 4, in the order that they, you know what I'm saying? Like the actual games, whatever the fuck. So 7 was more personal to me because that was my first game with characters that I cared about.
Right.
The whole point that game was coming out was to get people like us to buy it.
Right.
The reason why they gave us that vertical slice from that fight was because of niggas like us.
That's true.
And they flatly lied in our face. I don't care. I don't care what they did after that, right? Like the story could be decent in whoever's eyes. People could like that shit in anybody's eyes. They signed us up for Final Fantasy with some extra shit in it. They didn't sign us up for Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts, the game. They didn't. Now, you liking it is one thing, right?
Yeah.
But if I was told this from the beginning and not no vague, hey, yeah, we just gonna stretch some things out here, because I already had to take the L of the game being cut up.
Right, yeah.
But they even took that knowledge from us from the discs from the game. They was like, well, this is just the first disc, and we just gonna just stretch it out and charge you $60. That's literally what they told us, and we said, okay, cool. We're so much fans, we still waving our flags and holding our flags up. And they took advantage of that shit. Now, let's talk about what you said about Square Enix. I agree with everything you said. Square Enix, outside of 12, basically showed their ass, and that's including 14, which came out a fucking mess.
Oh, that Jesus Christ.
Now, the fact that they fixed it, you don't get no kudos, even though I love that game. You don't get no kudos for fixing shit that took you 3 years to get there in the first place.
I never went back. I never went back, bro.
Oh, it's fantastic. It is the best MMO on the market. This is a guy who played 11 for 13 years.
I played 11.
11 got the best job system in any Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though it took you 100 years to get to 75 when it first happened. But that's another conversation. 11 was fantastic. Now, 15 didn't even work when it came out, and they had to go back and fix shit in it. So I
act like 15 doesn't even exist, bro, because the world was so empty. It felt like 5 different games. Like once you left that first area, then I was just like, yo, what was this?
It did.
I was like, yo.
Then the legendary weapons take your energy when you use them and shit. Like, what the fuck?
What is this?
That game was fucking trash. And then Prompto was like just a big, ugh. the worst character ever. Like he was worse than Hope in 13. Like just horrible character. But Ignis leaves and his eyesight is gone. Like what the fuck? Oh my god, I hate that game.
I think they redid something with it, but I own it and I never.
Yeah, they fixed 13. They fixed 13 and they charged you money to figure out what happened to Prompto, Ignis, and Gladios. Like they charged you money to figure out what happened to them because everything else was cut off Glaive and Brotherhood. And then you had to get the DLC to figure out what was happening in the game that you were playing. Why that whole and then he was just the bag suck and he jumped off a rock and then grabbed them and jumped off the same rock and you know what I'm saying? Like he was doing all this fucking commando bullshit when he was just a normal guy when we was playing the game before. Just with a big ass sword and he was trained as a soldier. There was more connection to that. There was little things that they did, like they fleshed out Barrett's story with Dane and why he had Marlene. Little shit like that made you connect to Barrett. I couldn't figure out if Barrett was cool or a dork in this game because I kept jumping back and forth. Yeah, and the voice actor sound just like Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose because I was back and forth. Like I didn't like him at first, and then I started liking him more as like the game went through. By the end of the game, I liked him. And then
but on the fence because I'm like, as a black dude, I'm like, I'm not feeling this at all. Like
over the top, like, he comes off real rash at the beginning, like mad stereotypical like dickhead black dude.
Like I'm not feeling none of this shit. But then the side quests were empty fetch quests or kill quests.
That I do agree with.
Go here, kill this thing here that's waiting for you to kill it, no matter how long you take to get to it. There's examples of other games where you do that shit and it's better. Witcher, for example, where you get a quest, you got to investigate some shit, you got to find some shit out, and then you got different ways and different angles to go at killing that thing. These are games that came out before this game.
I think they were just trying to
fluff out the time.
Yeah, fluff out the time. Because I think they got through the game. They probably said, okay.
You're breaking up. I can't.
You're breaking up again.
Oh, my fault. I had a call come in. You're good. Yeah. Y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so what I think happened was I think they probably finished the game in like 24, 26 hours, something like that. And they're like, we need to give something to do. So they just gave you a bunch of running back and forth. And you know what I mean? I don't know. The soundtrack, the when you did get to fight when it wasn't like this cinematic running around. And I mean, I was invested in
the soundtrack just played on our nostalgia.
I did like running around and stuff like that. But there were parts like on the replay, like the first time I played it, it was cool. Like I was like, all right, going through it. But like the second time, I'm just like, all right, it kind of takes a long time to like get to like from here to there. And then there's certain parts where I'm just like, I really kind of don't want to play this because I really didn't like Midgar at all, like playing like the original game. Like I always try to rush through it as fast as possible. So it's like, you know, it was my least favorite part of the game, but just the fact that they were bringing back my favorite game, it's just like I had to just, you know what I mean? You know, I had to like go and play it and figure it out. And like, if it was something that I was going to hate because, you know, I treat it like I treat my women, like, I'm expecting you to disappoint me from the beginning. So it's just like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna soak it in, and then I'll just think about it after. So it's just like, yeah.
But you had a good way to look at it. You had a good way to look at it before coming in. Like, you took everything that they did all together and was like, nah, these niggas full of shit. I kept looking at Final Fantasies as different groups of people doing different things. And me playing 14 after they fixed it, and me playing 12 remastered, I'm like, you know what?
But how many years had it? How many? When this was coming out, before that, how many years prior had you been excited about a Square Enix game coming out? And you were like, yo, like that you know what I mean? Like you didn't have any doubt you're gonna go pick this game up. It was a long time for me.
I can't think of a Square Enix game besides Octopath that I was like excited about.
You know. Rephrase it. The last Final Fantasy. What's the last Final Fantasy game? It's like it's coming out, and you're like, "Yo, I'm copping this. I don't care. I'm just going to get it."
14
Because
when it originally came out.
yeah, okay.
Because 13 was trash. All of them.
Yeah. For me, it was before that. Like the last one the last one that I was like excited.
Oh no, I
take
that back. 15. I was excited about 15. Shit.
Nah, yeah, you know what?
I got caught into that hype. I'm stupid.
All right, what happened? All right, 12 was the last one for me. So it's been years since I was excited because I like 12, and I was just like, okay, they're going with the Final Fantasy Tactics vibes and stuff like that. Okay, so I can dig it. And then when they had the whole Gambit, I was like, yeah, okay, I can do it. They're trying to do whatever. So then that came out. 13 came out, utter trash. And then they did 2 sequels to it. I was like, are you serious? 14 came out. I was like, I don't know about that. And then so when 15 was coming out, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And then like no lie, like maybe like 2 days before it came out, I watched a video and they convinced me to buy it. And I'm like, okay, it's decent, it's okay.
That's what they do, and that's what hole I kept falling down. I kept like fucking Wile E. Coyote.
I was like, nah, never again. So even though 7 is my favorite game, I was like, you're not gonna catch me again. So I was like, I'm gonna get it because I have to, because there's no way that I can't advocating for this game. Like I bought it mad times. I lent it to my friend, never got it back, bought it again. Lent it to another friend, never got it back, bought it again.
Everybody went through that.
I had it on PS1. I have it on the Vita. I have it on my phone. Like I have like that game. If I want to play it, I have access to the original game, bro.
It's on Game Pass right now too.
Yeah, I may even have it over there too. Sheesh. Like yo, I have that game like everywhere. So for me, so that's what it was for me. So it's really just it's just the fact that I just didn't have faith in Square. So I was like, all right, I know that they're gonna give me elements of the game that I like, because they always do. They give you certain stuff, but I just didn't have faith in them to come with a complete game. And it lacked in the story. The story was bad. You know what I mean? Like
expectations were tempered. And mine wasn't. I went in excited and got hurt. Like a girlfriend hurt you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I got hurt in a way that didn't feel normal. Like I can play I could play shit like I'm a comic book nerd. Right. Avengers, I want to strangle the niggas who made that game. Like this shit could have printed money, but they fucked that up. And that's how I felt about fucking 7. They hit you like all the interviews after the fact, and they even had to come out and apologize for shit that they did in the game. But they did little slick shit before it came out, like I said, with the demo to pull niggas like me in, putting remake on the case just in case people get to crying about it. But when it was never referred to as that, except for people talking about it, every time they referred to it, it was Final Fantasy 7. We're just remaking it. They didn't say Final Fantasy 7. Reimagining the whole thing. If you would have said that, I would have said that sounds like bullshit. But let's see where you're going with it. So the moment I would have saw Sephiroth, I would have said, "Oh, Nomura made this." As soon as I saw Nomura's name come across the thing, they pulled a M. Night Shyamalan with him, how his movies are terrible now, and they keep his name off everything until you see the movie and you know it's him now. They did that with him until the game came out. They made sure his name was nowhere associated with the shit until you see the game. I saw his name. I'm like, Nomura, where do I know that name from? Because I keep confusing him with the guy who blew Final Fantasy 14 when it first came out. Chisura, whatever the fuck his name was. Or the guy who fixed it.
Those names, bro.
Yeah, all their names blend together. So, but when I did research, I was like, oh my God, the guy who did fucking Kingdom Hearts. Oh God. And then nobody can tell me if you play the Kingdom Hearts game, this is not Kingdom Hearts. This literally is Kingdom Hearts. How convoluted the story is, how much fluff bullshit this is, a kiddie game ending, super cool, edgy guy that only 11-year-old thing. Sephiroth was cool when I was a kid. Sephiroth now, kind of dorky to me. I don't know why.
And I think that's why they're trying to do something bigger than him. Because it was just like, he had the dope story, Genova. Yeah.
Him turn, dude. This shit was already dope. All you had to do is make it look good. 7 is terrible to play now because it looks like shit.
Yeah, it is.
All you had to do is make it look good, and I would have paid 60, 60, 60 for it. Now I'm off the boat. I'm off the ship, and there's gonna be more people like me. They're not going to talk about the sales for the next game because it's not going to sell as well as the next game did. I don't think this game sold that great because they wasn't talking about the numbers every day like they do every other game. I'm off. So I got lied to. Go ahead.
No, all right. No, finish your thought then, because I
got lied to, right? And then I played the shit and was like, they literally had Ares talking for like the directors and writers of the game. Oh, this is not what I expected it to be. Now it's going to be something else, and we're just going to have to just see what happens. Suck my dick. Like, fuck out of here with this bullshit. Like, don't hit me with that fucking fourth wall bullshit. Like, I get it that you created these two characters, right? And you hated that they got famous by somebody else's story. So you had to change it and make it your story. Okay, that's about as petty as some petty shit. That's how like some shit that bitches do. But cool. You did that, and then you turned this shit into something else now. So now, this isn't Final Fantasy VII anymore.
No, it's completely going to be a different game.
It's World of Final Fantasy now. Like, it's not that thing. It's something else now. It shit is so diluted to the point that it's not that thing anymore. It's not liquor anymore. It's just a liquid. That's what it is. And I'm not looking forward to nothing that follows this shit. I don't care how good the next game is. You took Midgar, a 5-hour section, and fluffed it out with 26 fucking side quests, and all of them are boring. There's more side quests than actual game. And not only that, we're walking through walls and climbing up ladders, hiding fucking load screens. You're doing that more than actually playing the game. Oh, and the summons suck too. Let's not forget that. So the thing that made Final Fantasy VII cool, that was Jake. Now we're just doing VR to get them singular boss fights, and they made that shit Jake. Okay, fine. But go ahead. I've ranted.
No, you make some good points, and like if I think about it like in that sense, it's just like then it does make me more upset, and I guess like for this, oh man, it's you because it's just like I don't it's just like you have like you have like a masterpiece besides the graphics, and then you just like, hey, let me take this out, let me do this, and it's just like they're just picking it apart, and I'm just like and it's just like I was trying I was trying so hard, and don't get me wrong, like I'm still gonna get the next one because all right, for me the number one thing I was looking for when this game came, I figured that they were going to change the story a bit. I figured that they were going to do something. Once I knew that they were going to break it into parts, I figured that they were going to do something weird with it. Because the Japanese love to do like these weird games and weird sequels that they won't tell you this is a sequel and this is that. So I was like, all right, as long as they give me some pretty good fighting, like because I always I like the turn based, but I like action RPGs a little bit better. So I was like, as long as it's like the action RPG ish elements and we get some good fights, but we didn't get a lot of them.
You just reminded me of something.
Whatever.
You just reminded me of something. Not only what Aries said. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is important. Not only what Aries said with the like shitting on the people that love the old game, they made it with the turn-based fighting is easy mode.
Yeah.
So they completely shit it. They completely shit it on anybody that love the old game. If you liked anything in the old game, it's easy mode.
Yeah, initially that's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought it was able to like switch back and forth between like the classic mode and then the action-oriented type mode. But I don't know. Yeah, that was weird.
No, literally, if you put it on turn-based, it says you're playing on easy now.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Nigga, they did not like 7. Like the guys who made the shit, whoever was in charge of this shit, did not like 7. That's it. Like flat out. Like look, If I would have known that, I would have never touched this shit. Or I would have looked at it in a completely different way. I would have looked at it like 13. Like I played 12 and went into 13 fucking wide-eyed and shit. But as soon as I saw how much of a dork Ice was, or whatever that guy's name was, and how they was trying to turn lightning into cloud, I was like, I'm not feeling any of this. Right. I'm getting Advent Children vibes, which I did not like. I know you said you like Advent Children. I did not like Advent Children. Fucking Sephiroth clones, just like in this game, dorky, not feeling any of this. Anything that they did, the killing the character, fix it. You do all this stuff. You make me feel the way about these three characters. You kill them, they come back.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The story. I agree with you there. The story was trash. The way if they switched up the story and they said like, all right, they did like different stuff and it was like the story actually made sense and it was better, then I'll say okay. It's like you try to outdo yourself and like just drastically failed. I do agree with you there. But what I will say, what I will give in defense of it is coming from the original and then playing this and just staying on task and just going through it, just trying to experience it. I was okay until I went back to play it again. And then that's when all my gripes like came through. So I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, because the shiny nickel wore off because all that pretty shit was like, okay.
Second playthrough, yep. So I do agree with most of the points that you are making. You know what I mean? But I also read like some of the novels that they had. So it's just I'm invested in Final Fantasy 7. Like, you know, like so for me it's like it's like, especially hearing you talk about it like that, it just like hurts my soul because I'm just like, damn, how the fuck they mess up my game like that so bad?
And they could have expanded some things. They could have expanded things and put their own twist on the shit, right? But like we completely in like a different reality, timeline, time travel, all this other bullshit. All they had to do was just expand things a little bit. Like I said with Barrett and Dane, where they show how Barry got his gun arm. They could have did that with fucking Wedge and Biggs. Like they could have, you know what I'm saying? If you were going to keep them alive, you could have expanded their story a little bit and be like, okay, these characters are going to be more important in the next game. No, you did the super dramatic thing. They sacrificed themselves and they're still alive. And I could talk about stupid shit that happened, like when the plate fell and then nobody died. Everybody survived. So that moment from that game was like they fucked up and killed thousands of people when the plate fell. They removed that. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like everything was so happy-go-lucky at the end, and then fucking Cloud fights Sephiroth. They had a fucking super epic fight that they had in the end of the game, and Cloud's not ready yet because he doesn't have Omni Slash. Next game, like what the fuck game am I playing? So now I know how the next game is going to end unless we go back in time on some future Trunk shit. The next game is he's going to learn Omni Slash and then he's going to beat fucking Sephiroth the end.
Well, they still got to kill Aerith, so that's why I'm thinking it's going to be like 3 parts.
They're going to have to kill a bunch of people.
If they do.
They're going to have to kill a bunch of people. They're going to Final Fantasy 13-2 this shit. They're going to fucking fix everything that people complained about and kill everybody. That's what they're going to do.
But I think it's going to be a completely different game. Like, I think the story is going to be completely different. I don't think it's going to follow. He said, like,
definitely going to be a different game.
I don't think it's going to be anything close to like the original story. Because if they're in an alternate,
not. It isn't.
If they're in an alternate, there's no. Because if they do double back now, then that's when I'll be done. You said you're done from now. If they do that, there, I'm done.
You can't double back now. It's over. It's over with. Like, like trying to put on the same condom. You can't do that. It's over with. It's done. Like you can't go back. You can't close that can. you changed all this shit. Zach's alive. We got Red 13 way too early. I'm surprised Vincent didn't pop up out of nowhere.
What the fuck was the point of that?
I'm surprised we didn't pass a piano and just get Vincent. Like, but Sid's here too? I thought they was going to do that. Like, they showed Cap Sid. Fuck it. We got Red 13 hours early. Fuck it. Bring Yuffie too. Nerd. Fuck it. I thought they was going to do all of that, but they didn't go that crazy. I was waiting for it though.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they all just popped up in the last chapter.
Just walk past a piano and then you got Vincent. Like you didn't even have to do nothing. Just he's at your team. He's cool guy, cool vampire guy. We got him too. Jesus, man.
What I think happened, they was like going along, and I think they were just on the fence as to whether to change the game to something different, to remake or like It's like they started with a remake and then they ended up with a reboot. It's like, and they squished the two together. And
I think how they shitted on us personally as fans of the game, Nomura knew from the beginning what he wanted to do. I think Nomura was never happy with how Cloud and Sephiroth ended up. And he wanted to always change 7. His games don't get no recognition like 7 got. Kingdom Hearts does not get any recognition like 7 got. Kingdom Hearts has its fans, whatever.
Why destroy your legacy? That's stupid.
He didn't have a legacy connected to that. He only had characters that he created in it. He didn't do anything story-wise, right? Like he created Shadow in 6. That's it. Like he just drew him. But his legacy was not connected to he tried to make his own legacy to these characters. That's why he ruined the story, because he wanted to put his own spice on the shit. But it was like fucking Becky making fucking potato salad. She wanted to add raisins for no reason. That's what he did. He ruined the shit because he wanted to put his own spin on it. Because he did not like where his characters went.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You making me like hate this dude more and more as I'm thinking about it. Because I'm just why?
Dude, he looked you in your face and said, "I don't fucking care about your feelings." He said that to us with Ares before they walked to that portal. When Sephiroth slashed that portal and walked into it, fucking Ares stopped us and was like, Cloud was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "You might not be ready for this." He's like, "Bitch, get out of my way." And then she stopped and was like, "You're not about to like what you see." She played the pronoun game with us. She knows exactly what's going on, right?
No, she do. It's obviously it's Sephiroth and Aris that are, you know what I mean, from wherever the fuck they from. Because they're both definitely not from there. So, because she just knows too much. So, yeah, they definitely just switched up. It's
lightweight the villain in that game.
Yeah.
She the villain. She knows what's going on, and she stopped her own death from happening.
But like I said, I was expecting them to. I was expecting the story changes, but it's just like the inconsistencies are kind of overwhelming. But what I do have to give credence to is that at least like when I went through it the first time, I was like, all right, and you know what I mean. My excitement was high. Like as I was playing it, and then as I got to the end, I was just like, "Yo, what the hell's going on?"
Did you play Persona 5?
I love Persona 5.
Okay, because
I got Royal too.
A lot of people didn't play that, but played 7. Was like, "This is the best RPG ever." Like, yeah, Persona's better though.
Nah, yeah, Persona is like, all right, standalone by itself without the 7 nostalgia for me. I mean, even still, Persona 5 is a better put together game regardless. Over that, I'll give it that. It's props anyway. I think it was probably the best RPG probably on the PS5, PS4. Yeah. Especially when they redid it with the Royal. Like that's how you like redo a game and add shit to the game and make it better.
I wasn't even mad that I bought that twice.
Oh yeah, nah. And
within a year of owning it.
And I got the first one because I didn't know anything about Persona. Well, actually, no, I had Persona 4 on the Vita. So when the 5 came out, I got it on sale like Christmas or something like that, and I loved it. And I was like, "Yo, I only paid $20 for this." So when the Royal came out, I paid $60 and got some DLC. So I was like, "Yo, I was highly impressed with what they did there."
Yeah, so, Atlas take their time with their shit and don't spit in the face of fans of shit that like what they liked in the other game. I mean, again, make what you want to make your own vision. But like he could have just made Advent Children. He could have just went on with that. Like you could have took that convoluted shit and went on with that. Like, look, we're gonna give y'all 7, right? But we're gonna give y'all this new experience with Advent Children. Like we already had the story set up, but this is gonna give us money in the short term. these are our long-term plans. We got 4 games we want to come out with. The first one is going to be 7 fucking remade, and then we're going to make 3 Advent Children games because we want to put Sephiroth in this shit 4 times. Cool. We want to play One Wing Angel every time he steps out with his big stupid sword. Fantastic. Whatever his boner is for that guy and his big sword, I don't know, but Jesus Christ, he took the story and just like smashed it to the ground and was like made none of this shit matter. And everybody you introduced, I forgot about.
Yeah, and the freaking the way they put remake on it, that was the direct line. That was my biggest issue of the thing, because you didn't remake it, you made another game. You feel what I'm saying? You took elements of one game and you sidestepped and made something else.
Oh, they definitely reimagined it.
Yeah. So that it was like the original game is there. So go play that on whatever system you have, and then this is a completely different take, alternate reality, whatever we're doing. But I'm saying, like,
I'll tell you what, man,
what?
it's refreshing to hear just passion behind something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel it on both sides, like, especially whenever you grew up with 7, and this is coming from someone who hasn't played it. So one of the things that I'm basically have been picking on, and like Trey, basically where I guess I'm feeling a little bit of a turnaround. I'm feeling a little bit of a lean toward the fact that maybe they didn't do as good of a job on the remake, or I guess quote unquote reboot on the new one. But so what I'm picking up is, for people who grew up with and have played the original 7, the new one's not that great. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the original 7, then this is like, yeah. If you're a hardcore fan, then yeah, it's pretty much like gonna be a disappointment.
It's like a slap in the face, basically, is what it is.
No,
Especially kind of what you,
a slap in the face.
yeah, because kind of like what Glorious Beard was saying. Whenever you have turn based is just easy mode, and you can't do turn based and higher difficulty.
Nope.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a slap in the face, because I do love some turn based games. Like Legend of Dragoon on the PS1 was one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
I still got that on the Vita. I still got that on the Vita.
All the more games are action-based games, not turn-based. Every game that has his name slapped on it, with him having full credit on it, is full action-based games. So the moment that you turn this shit to turn-based because you played 7 and remember liking that, it says, well, now the game's on easy mode. So you think this game is easy now? Wait till you play turn-based.
Right. So my next question would be then, for someone who either hasn't ever played any other game in the series, or I guess maybe just like someone who's young and you know, this is basically the time that they're growing up in, and this is the first experience of Final Fantasy, would you recommend it as a game for someone to kind of get into the Final Fantasy world?
Yes, because I want you to play that and then go play 7.
Well, yeah. What I would say is play the remake first.
Yep.
Because if you like the original, if you get through 7, you know, and you could deal with the graphics and everything like that, and you get invested in that game, and you go to the remake, it's gonna break your heart like it broke everybody else's. So I would go the opposite way.
First thing you're gonna be like when you play remake and then go play the old one is they stretched out a 5-hour section to 40 hours, and the 40 hours could be knocked down to like 10 hours because it's all fluff until like set pieces. But then the set pieces are good. The boss fights are good.
Yeah,
like,
it definitely has a lot of elements that were good.
I can't shit on, the only thing I can shit on is that Roche guy who attacked me with his motorcycle and lightning bolts. Like, that was ridiculous. I don't know why they added that. I thought that was dumb. But even with that being said, how his character turned out was fine, ultimately. But like the fights were good. Like, no arguments there.
And that's what you'd expect in one of those styles of games. Because now, with the new one, I mean, it sounds like it was a little drawn out for basically what it was, but so it doesn't sound like it was a really long game. So you're paying like full price for a game that usually like you can last like 100 hours in, but
No,
it's very
it's
short.
not. It's not 100 hours. 30.
So what I would say is that, all right, if you do every single thing in that game and rebeat it on hard mode, then you can get like a good like maybe like 50, 60 hours. But at this time, if you were to get it now, you're not paying $60. You know, it's on sale. So if you get it for like $30 or $40, I would say that it's worth it at that
And
point.
is it still
$60,
level
$60,
based?
no. Yeah, you mean like the characters level up?
Yeah, you still get levels and everything like that. It's not just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a story RPG kind of.
Well, I mean, they one thing that they did, they broke it into chapters, so it's like chapter based now. But you still level up. You still go from level. I don't even remember what the max level is, but you can hit
50.
50, yeah. So you can basically, get like really overpowered by the end of this game. I'm just like, yo, how's it gonna get any more like harder when they get to the next game? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I don't know. So no, but
Yeah.
it's play them out of sequence, man. Play the remake first. Get it on sale. I would definitely recommend it at that point. If you can get it for like $20-$30, yeah, definitely go pick it up. It's worth that.
Absolutely. So yeah, basically what I'm gathering from it, I'll just kind of give a little bit of a recap for anyone who hasn't played it or hasn't been introduced to any of the Final Fantasy games. Check out the new one. At least get your feet wet, get acclimated to some of the characters, enjoy a little bit of the story. Might be a little bit drawn out at times, but overall, it's not an awful game to anyone who hasn't been introduced to the games before. But if you've played any of the games in the past, maybe skip it. But overall, basically, what I got from it, I don't know. I might be wrong. I mean, and feel free to jump in on this one, Words or Brochari. I want to make sure that I got
Doesn't
name
matter.
right on here. But
what I would say real quick
I'd say
before you finish, hold on. What I would say is if you play the original and you haven't played this one by now, then you don't even do it to yourself. Like, don't even do it to yourself because you're gonna get mad.
All right, now Black Trade dug himself the hole, and that just means Captain Glorious Beard, you are the winner of today's debate. Well done.
Boosh. There you go. It was a great debate. It was great. Like his points were fantastic though. Like I thought he was just gonna come in like, I like Kingdom Hearts, hit me with some New York shit, call me B and Dunny, and then that'd be the end of it. No, dude actually held up on his points and made me rethink some things. But my hate is so strong for this. Like I was gonna swing till I died, even if I got embarrassed in this shit. Like I was going down swinging.
I just watched you guys
points, though.
Grow closer throughout the conversation. I'm just like, oh, these guys are like becoming friends now. Like this is so good.
I was definitely
hate somebody like Persona and bought it twice. Yeah. Like how can you? And he played Golden too. Come on, bro. You can't hate that guy.
I was definitely expecting more New York jokes.
I couldn't. I ain't had a heart to. He kept shutting me down. I was like, I don't like Kingdom Hearts. Like I couldn't do nothing after that. He kept disarming me like every time. Yeah, every time I had a sword, he kept smacking it out my hand.
My girl bought me Persona 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 for Xbox, for the Xbox One, and I turned it on for 6 minutes and turned it off.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
He's a cool person, man. I generally don't like people who aren't cool or smart unless they're women.
You were friends with Justin.
And on that note,
I was friends with Justin. See, all right. So we're gonna sign off after I say this. Justin is a guy. So
you are in
nobody
control
else
of the record button.
I am. So there. So basically, this guy, right? This Caucasian guy who thinks thought he was Hispanic. He had really long hair, kind of like HBK in the 90s.
Just a white guy.
And he was just a Caucasian guy. And he basically rapped and
Oh, yeah.
Sure, we can
he
call
had
it. Good call.
That's every white guy in my neighborhood.
yeah
in the
yeah,
Bronx, bro.
and
Every single one of them, bro.
he thought he was hard, but he was just an alcoholic, and yeah, he just had a lot of problems, and so I think I was friends with him because
Until I came around.
my best friend died of cancer, and when Steve died, there was a void, and you know there was, what is this kid calling himself now? Xanax? What is this kid calling himself now?
Zentak.
I don't know what the hell I don't know.
That sounds like fucking like nose medicine, like shit you spray up your nose.
But see, I'm not petty anymore. I'm not gonna talk bad about him. I'm not petty anymore.
I am.
I know.
Don't worry.
I know.
I got it.
I know.
Be petty for the both of you.
Yeah. Trying not to do it for 2021. Anyway, so that was our, I guess we'll call it Rage Quit episode. I'm so glad that Brotendo could be a part of this episode. I'm super happy that Black Trey was here for it as well. Thank you so much.
It was pretty dope. That was pretty dope.
You also, Captain Glorious Beard. Thank you so much for going 12 rounds with Black Trey. I guess we'll start signing off with Black Trey. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just check me out on Your Kicks on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, man. And check us out.
All right. I know also he has some projects brewing. I'm not going to talk about your stuff, but I know we talk a lot about things we got going on. So please watch this guy. Look out for this guy. He's got a lot of stuff. He's got a lot of stuff coming at you. Captain Glorious Beard.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you wanna plug?
No, I plugged it earlier, but I do want to plug again. I Am Legend, the Platinum Edition, where Will Smith fucked that dog. That happened.
Did that really happen?
No, it did not happen.
My eyes just got real wide for a second. I'm like, did I miss something?
I was like, yo.
No, that didn't happen.
Way to start 2021.
Oh, man.
This man's been through enough entanglements and everything. You're talking about screwing a dog.
He did it to himself, bro.
He did.
He did
let your son walk around in the Pink Ranger outfit, and let your 11-year-old daughter sleep in the bed with a grown man. Take pictures. Him fucking the dog is the least of his problem.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bat an eye if that actually happened.
Yeah. And Brotendo, do you finally have social medias?
I mean, I've got the Facebooks, I've got the Instagrams, but do I use them? Rarely. But I mean, I don't know what to do with them. Like, what do I do on it now?
You post pictures on Instagram. You post faces on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
you post books on Facebook.
I'll start with something tonight. I'll post something on the Instagrams.
I'll just start a fan service. I'm gonna start a fan service page, and I'm gonna just let you moderate that. You just have
you're gonna let me be on that.
That'll be your page. That'll be your responsibility.
This would be my baby. I'm gonna raise that thing, get like 1 million subscribers. You can be like, oh man, we should have had him do that from the beginning. And I'll be like, I don't know. I just like these pictures.
That's perfect. But I guess me, Words the Poet, on Instagram, on Facebook. Buy my book on Amazon. Broken Pieces, The Sound of Falling Things. Broken Pieces Volume 1, actually, The Sound of Falling Things. I'm making a second book. I'm actually going to YouTube me trying to make a book in 24 hours. That's going to come out. It's going to be dope. Also, Nerd Bourbon on everything. You can find our fan service podcast. Just got Apple verified today. Spotify on that. So, yeah. Beyond that, y'all, everybody, thanks for listening. Do all the social media stuff. Like, follow, subscribe. Thanks again to our special guests. And, yeah, we're out.
You're rich plus I'm bougie. Try to make my life a movie.